Welcome students. In this video, we see next chapter Public Finance in India. See introduction. Public finance is one of the old branches of economics which highlights the role of functions of the government in an economy. Government is a formal or informal institutions created by the people in a specific region to perform various functions such as a protection from external attacks, protection of private properties of the people, generation of employment, maintaining internal law and orders, provisions of social needs like education, health, etc. So students, the functions of the government can be classified as there are two types. First is the obligatory function. That means obligatory function is protection from external attacks, maintaining internal law and orders, etc. are obligatory functions of the government. Second classification is optional function. See, provisions of social security like pension and other welfare measures etc. are optional function of the government. So, meaning and nature of public finance. To perform the above mentioned functions adequately and efficiently, any government need funds which can be received from various sources. The concept of public finance is the combination of two words, public and finance. Public is a collective for the individuals living within an administrative territory. In economics, it is used to signify the government which represent the public. Finance simple means income and expenditure. Thus, public finance is nothing but a study of the principle of income and expenditure of the government at central, state, and local level. This study is done under the public finance branch in economics. So students, we see definition of public finance. Different economists have defined public finance in their own ways. Let us study some of these definitions. First definition is Hugh Dalton. See, public finance is one of those subjects which are on the borderline between economics and politics. It is concerned with the income and expenditure of public authorities and with the adjustment of one with the other. Since we study the activities of governments in political science too, public finance also constitutes a part of the study of political science. Second definition is Professor Finlay Shiraz. Public finance is the study of the principles underlying the spending and raising of funds by public authorities. So students, we see structure of public finance. There are some components of the structure of public finance. First component is a public expenditure, second is a public revenue, third is a public debt, fourth is a fiscal policies, and last one is a financial administration. So students, first we see public expenditure. See, public expenditure is that expenditure which is incurred by the public authorities, that means central, states and local bodies, for protection of their citizens, for satisfying their collective needs and for promoting their economic and social welfare. Till 20th century, the majority of the government had adopted a policy of laissez-faire. Under these policies, the functions of government were restricted to the obligatory functions, but the modern governments not only perform the obligatory functions, such as defense and civil administration, but also performs optional function for promoting social and economic development for their countries. Therefore, study of public expenditure is an important part of study of public finance. So students, we see next point, reason for growth in public expenditure. It is observed that there is a continuous growth in public expenditure in developing countries like India. So we see reasons. First reason is or first important reason is a increase in the activities of the government. As mentioned earlier, the modern government perform many functions for the social and economic development of the country. These functions include spread of education, public health, public work, public recreation, social welfare scheme, etc. It is observed that new functions are continuously being undertaken and all functions are being performed more efficiently on a large scale by the government. This leads to increase in public expenditure. Second reason is a rapid increase in population. Population of developing countries like India is increasing fast. In 2011 census, it was 121.02 crores. As a result, the government has incur greater expenditure to fulfill the need of the increasing population. Then third one, growing urbanization. Spread of urbanization is a global phenomenon of the day. This led to increase in the government expenditure on water supply, roads, energy, school and colleges, public transport, sanitization, etc. Then next, increasing defense expenditure. In modern time, defense expenditure of the government is increasing even in the peace time due to unstable and hostile international relationship. Next one, spread of democracy. Majority of the countries in the world are democratic in nature. A democratic form government is expensive due to regular election and other such activities. This result in the increase in total expenditure of the government. Inflation. Next point is inflation. Just like a private individual, the government has to buy goods and services from the market for the spread of economics and social development. Normally, prices show a rising trend. Due to this, the government has to incur increasing cost. Next one, industrial development. Industrial development leads to an increase of production, employment, and overall growth in the economy. Hence, the government makes huge effort for the implementing various schemes and programs for industrial development. This result in increase in government expenditure. Next one is a disaster management. Many natural and man-made calamities like earthquake, floods, cyclones, social unrest, etc. are occurring more frequently. The government has to spread a huge amount of the disaster management, which increases total expenditure. Modern governments are working for welfare state. Hence, there is a continuous increase in the public expenditure. Okay, students, we see next second component is public revenue. See, public revenue means the aggregate collection of income with the government through various sources. Public revenue holds the permanent positions in the study of public finance, which is part of the study of economics. Thus, the necessity of public revenue arises due to public expenditure. The main sources of public revenue are as follows. First, taxes and non-tax revenue. So students, we see taxes. First point, taxes. And you know that what is a taxes. So according to Professor Tossing, the essence of the tax as distinguished from other charges by government is the absence of a direct quid pro quo between the taxpayer and the public authorities. Second definition is, according to Professor Seligman, a tax is a compulsory contribution from the person to the government without reference to special benefits conferred. A tax process following essential characteristics. First characteristic is it is a compulsory contribution to the government and every citizens of the country is legally bound to pay the tax imposed upon him. It is a major source of revenue to the government. If any person do not pay a tax, he can be punished by the government. Second characteristic is a tax is paid by taxpayer to enable government to incur express in the common interest of the society. Third characteristic is the payment of a tax by a person does not entitle him to receive any direct and proportionate benefits or services from the government in return for the tax. And last one, tax is imposed on income, property or commodities and services. So students, we see types of tax. There are two main types of taxes. There are direct tax and indirect tax. So let us see in details. First, direct tax. What do you mean by direct tax? It is paid by the taxpayer on his income or property. The burden of tax is borne by the person on whom it is levied, as he cannot transfer the burden of the tax to other. Impact and incidence of direct tax falls on the same person. For example, personal income tax, wealth tax, etc. Second types is indirect tax. See, what is a indirect tax? It is levied on goods or services. It is paid at the time of production or sale and purchase of commodities or a service. The burden of an indirect tax can be shifted by the taxpayer, that means producers, to other person. Hence, impact and incidence of tax are on different heads. For example, newly implemented goods and services tax, that means GST, in India has replaced almost all indirect tax, custom duty. Okay students, remaining parts we will see next videos. Thank you.